There we are. So next on stage, we're bringing Kristina back. We're also being joined by a gentleman who's a professor of economics and a serial entrepreneur. It's like being an entrepreneur, but with the internet involved, in case you didn't know. And he's also the managing director of the SWE Foundation. Please put your hands together for Mr. Greg Siourounis. And Kristina on stage as well. There you go. You should be microphones. I'll leave it to you two.
Okay, amazing. 10 minutes to show how you make a difference. So we have an amazing topic of real impact in this world, and I'm curious to learn what is first your motivation to wake up every morning to change the world. Are you committed to change the world to the best?
That's the only thing that makes you going, right? To want to change the world. And the thing that motivates us is that we have a great team, and this team is trying to make a difference every day in terms of the technology stack that is needed to onboard the next 1 billion users.
The previous panel we've just discussed that maybe blockchain cannot solve it all. So what exactly can blockchain solve, and how can it make the world a little bit better than it is now?
Well, blockchain is not a one-shoe-fits-all, or some technology stacks that have been developed. They need special use cases. What we are doing different in SWE is that the first in the world object-oriented blockchain, which means what? It means that there is a one-to-one relation between the blockchain and the real world. So to give you an example, in SWE, this bottle here can be an object, and the object can have different states. It can be empty, or it can be full, which means that there is a lot of interoperability with the real world, flexibility, and also composability.
Let's define what is real world for you.
Well, real world is anything that you can see with your eyes, right? As Plato said, you can fantasize everything, but when you see something, it's out there and you can see it.
And now you can put an Oculus and see Mark Zuckerberg on the other side of the world talking to you. So are you talking about the experiences? Are you talking about something that we can touch? Are you talking about something that comes from the legacy industry into the Web3?
Well, with Web3, or whatever we talk in this technology will be relevant and be relevant to everybody in the world when we don't talk about it, which means that whenever I use like an application, or I surf on the internet, or I trade, or I get my bill, or I get my certificate for my emissions when I charge my Tesla, and I don't think that this is something that is coming from a specific tech stack. This is when Web3 will be successful.
What is the biggest challenge that, in your opinion, we are all now encountering as a global community?
The biggest challenge is that we're too esostrophic, which means that we are talking too much to ourselves, but we don't talk that much to the outer world, which is the Web2, let's say, world. And we don't talk too much in the sense that to educate them or let them know what this new tech stack can do for the Web3 world, and how we can change lives and make lives easier, more accessible, and of course, happier.
Do you see the Web3 space developing into a more global community, or will we be more fractionized in the sense of individualistic developments and individualistic services that we're using? Like, I feel sometimes that with the advent of the latest technology, where we spend more time in a digital space than in real life, we actually risk losing this bridge with the real life and real impact and with each other. So how do we keep the integrity of the real world while moving into the digital space and spending more time there?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. Well, I think that, if you don't talk global, or to put it differently, if you want to talk global, you have to talk local, which means that you first have to win the local battles, in the sense that every country, every human being is different. Every country is different, Every region is different. So you have to first understand, these dynamics, and then talk global. That's one thing. And the second thing is that, in SUI, we're talking about digital ownership, which means that, you can own anything you want on the web, but you have to own it, right? Not just, upload it up there, and some, smart AI machine parse it over, create value, and you don't get anything out of this value. So Web3 or digital ownership, it's about, controlling all your assets that are in the, virtual world, without, of course, deducting any utility from the interaction between people, which has to continue, because at the end of the day, machines are stupid, but they cannot be more stupid than their creators.
What is your final satisfaction? Like, how do you measure your success?
Our success is measured with a single, statistic. It's how many people are using the tech stack, the blockchain stack, and they don't know about it, which means that it might be counterintuitive, but when you become relevant to everyday life, then you don't care what is the tech stack behind it. You just care how you can do the things you have to do, which is spend and buy your groceries, do a transfer to your kid to play a game, you post something on the internet in terms of information. So that's the success or the state we want to be, the state of the world.
Do you have an estimate how many people do use it without knowing it?
Well, that's a very good question. No, the answer is I cannot give you a metric, but I can tell you that people will start, using blockchain without noting it when it's something that it doesn't need you to be a hacker to start, interacting with it. So, for example, it might be my utility bill. Do I have to be a hacker in order to receive my utility bill, and this utility bill being issued on chain, and it's transparent, immutable, and I can, reuse it anytime? No. Or does the bank has to be, a rocket scientist to get that statement and issue me an account? No. That's exactly the point here. I mean, right now, there are so many problems that, the blockchain stack can solve that people are not educating the system, the Web2 system enough, and that's what we were trying to do.
How do you think we as community can make sure that the adoption is equally distributed among all the countries, all the backgrounds, all the communities, and we know that we do not leave anyone behind?
That's a great question as well. I think that the most important thing is education. Education with with the web can transmit very fast. So if we don't aim to educate everybody equally and give equal access to that, then of course you will get small pockets of people that they know about something and they don't know about something else. So accessibility of education and good quality of education is the most important thing, because the web is a huge machine of information, but with zero knowledge, and not the zero knowledge login that we created in order to onboard the next 1 billion, but truly zero knowledge if people don't have the education in order to filter all this information that is coming from out there.
Totally agree that education is fundamental, but what about the distribution of wealth and access to different services? Like, there are still people who do not have smartphones, that there are still a lot of people who do not have internet connection, and those who have smartphones maybe do not have any impetus to install any blockchain service on their phones. They are using it for totally different things because they have a totally different requests. And we here in Dubai obviously talk about this from a little bit different perspective. So how we make sure that we include everybody and actually help make this gap a little bit smaller?
That's a great question as well. I mean, research shows that in the long term, income differentials are coming from two sources. So you only need two sources in order to differentiate or explain how the nations, or every nation it has arrived into this point, it's here. One is technology, innovation. Do you have innovative people? You have new ideas, breakthroughs. We talk every day about ideas that they will change the world. This is very important. The second one is education. In the long term, those countries that they have, mastered these two forces, they're the ones that you see today be wealthier than some other, countries, and that also is relevant for regions and for, individuals as well. Going to accessibility. If you think about it, in Africa, we have more cell phones than doors, which means everybody has a cell phone. So it's not difficult to reach out to these people. It's about the will. Do we have a will? If there is a will, there is a way. And we have to spend that, we have to make this extra mile, the last mile, as I say sometimes, in order to access people that they don't, give you an immediate return. But you know what? Do we know that if the new, medicine for cancer is going to come from somebody that is living in Africa or in Asia or in another place, and it's, it's not wealthy? No, we don't. We have to give everybody the same chance to become the next, innovator and the next person that might change the world. This is how we should behave in the macro level and in the global level, or the 40,000 feet view.
I love it a lot. Give a chance to everyone. Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you so much. Round of applause to Greg.